Real quick, I just wanted to share with you that From Scratch is an independent podcast that is not backed by any investors. If you do enjoy these types of inspirational stories and would like to support the podcast, I will leave a donation link somewhere above or below this video where you can make your donations discreetly and safely. If, on the other hand, you have a business and would like to advertise during one of the episodes, I have 3 types of sponsorship packages that basically fit any type of budget for your business. Any financial contribution is highly appreciated, and I cannot thank you enough for your continued support. But you don't have to donate in order to support the podcast. All you have to do is just simply subscribe and share it with your community so that these meaningful stories will reach a wider audience. Thank you for listening. Now let's go back to the episode. Welcome to From Scratch, the show where our guests share their journeys of success and failures. If these stories are something that inspire you, make sure that you hit the subscribe and share button. Share with somebody, to inspire their day. My name is Joko. I'll be your host. And today we have Kristin Brady here with me on the show, aka KB.
It's me, KB.
Welcome to the show, Kristin.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's such a pleasure to have you.
It's so exciting to meet you.
How are you? How is your day so far?
Oh, it's been great. It's right in the middle of summer market, so it's nice and busy. And as a single mom, I'm nice and busy with that little guy. So it's been a good day.
2 full-time jobs.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
Or actually a full-time job as a mom and then a hobby. Right?
Yeah, it is.
Before we go into what you do now and, where you spend your time earning your money, I want to get to know the younger Kristin. Like high school days, family, where did you grow up and stuff like that? How was life like back in the day?
So I grew up in Romeoville with my parents, my younger brother. It's kind of funny. I've established all of my closest friendships back then, starting in kindergarten, and I am still friends with most of those girls that I grew up with. We all carpooled together, which was cool, so we got to know each other's moms. In high school, I moved to unincorporated Lamont, which was cool. We lived on Bluff Road, if you know where that's at. Moved there when I was in high school. Still had all the same friends, still went to the same high school. So that's where I started.
What did a good day look like?
Oh, man. Well, good day was, Candace's mom was picking us up, and we were singing songs on the way to school and putting our makeup on and sharing lotions and all that good stuff. I think my personality has remained pretty much the same since then. I was always friends with everyone, connecting everyone as much as I could, going to all the, get-togethers, and after school, I'm sure we were either walking home together, going to the park, or, somehow, some way connecting on how can we have dinner together tonight, guys, That was my childhood. I was a cheerleader for 11 years, so that was fun. I cheered for football and for basketball.
Wow.
So that was cool. I was on a competing team when I was real young, and then I just cheered in high school. So.
And you said younger brother?
I have a younger brother. He's 5 years younger. Typical annoying brother that just wanted to be around, and I was like, can you go? These are my friends. I was in student council when I was younger, so that was really important to me. I started in middle school, carried on to high school, so that was neat.
Tell me about your family.
Like growing up was my mom and dad and just my brother. It was just the 4 of us. My mom has a really big family, so I'm continued to stay close with all of them. I think she has 4 sisters. All of them have kids, and all of them have kids. So I have like second cousins that I'm celebrating 4th of July with this year, which is cool.
Wow.
Second and third, actually. Some of them had even more. So mom has a big family. My dad does not. I actually don't really associate with my dad anymore, so he's kind of out of the picture.
Okay.
My brother got married. I had the honor of hosting his wedding in my backyard, his reception in my backyard. So we had, I think, over 100 people at my house last summer, which was awesome.
That is so sweet of you.
It was very cool.
How did you manage to fit 100 people in your backyard like that?
I have an acre, so that helps. And then right before
helps.
the party, I took a little look at the backyard, and I was like, you know what? I think I need a new patio, a new deck. So I contacted Scott Roble.
Okay.
He built a deck for me almost overnight. It felt like DJ, and we had a bar. Like my brother's in-laws built him a bar for the yard. We rented a dance floor and a giant tent with tables and chairs. It was quite the party.
What's something that puts a smile on your face?
Oh my gosh, my son.
Your son?
Yeah.
Okay.
He is awesome. Oh my gosh, why am I crying right now already?
It's okay.
He is such a blessing in my life.
How old is he?
He's 2.
God bless.
Never thought that I would be a single mom, but it is the most rewarding job ever. All right,
No.
give me a minute.
Yeah, sure.
I
Take
don't
your
want to cry
time.
through this whole thing.
No, take your time. Take your time. We just started.
I know.
The hardships that, that I see and hear people talk about, I relate to a lot of that. There is a certain strength in each of us that we're unaware of. I want to get to the bottom of that. Like, what was it that pushed you, like helped you, like gave you hope and all of these things?
Well, that's two different stories. So, what puts a giant
Absolutely.
smile on my face is my
Yes.
son. He has definitely some kind of special gift with music. This kid will hear a song once. He just turned 2 in February. He will hear a
Nice.
song one time and be able to recite the lyrics afterwards. And he belts it out. And he dances. He can clap on cue, like to the music. It's hysterical. He's quite the little entertainer.
If somebody were to meet you back in your high school days, who was Kristen back then?
I don't know. I think I had a louder mouth then because I didn't know as much as I do now, right?
Okay.
I was kind of along the lines of like kind of a class clown,
Okay.
but respectful still, right? A lot of energy back then. Still I think I do. If you would have met me when I was younger, I wouldn't have been much different than I am now. I think I take pride in
Okay.
who I am. And so I think my colors stayed the same throughout my years. I've just
Okay.
gotten wiser. And some of it too was uncomfortability, right? And so I hid behind sarcasm.
That is, yeah,
Yeah.
astute.
I think my dad had some anger issues. And
Okay.
so growing up and watching that, I learned that there has to be a way to communicate. Jeez.
It's okay.
There has to be a way to communicate respectfully by being heard and by listening also. And so when I was younger, before I knew any better, it was like, oh, I'll just make it funny. Like I'll try and make a joke out of this, but like there's some feeling behind there, right? And as I evolved and grew up and went through therapy and things like that, I learned there's an easier way than cracking a joke and maybe offending somebody, and learning how to just talk, right? Learning how to talk about your feelings, talk about other people's feelings, and listen.
I have this one friend, and he's like, "Talk to me, man." And I would talk, I would talk, I would talk, and he will just listen. Okay, thank you. Nice talking to you. I will see you tomorrow. Like, good to hear. I'm like, dude, like, all I've been doing is talking. You say something now. He's like, no, man, I just wanted to hear you talk. Why I think I feel bad is because I don't really reach out first, right? And because I haven't reached out doesn't mean that I've forgotten about you.
Well, it's hard when you're juggling a lot of friends, right?
True.
I grew up, like I said, in Romeoville. I grew a very close knit group of friends that are like family to me now. And then I had cheerleading, right? And then I started working when I was, I think, 15. So I had my work friends, and then it was like I went to JJC, so I met those people, and then I started doing hair, so I met those people, and like
Wow.
as I've evolved throughout my life, I've had so many jobs and I've met so many friends, and I have a lot of acquaintances in my life. And so, yeah, so trying to juggle all of them can be tough. But I think the
Mm-hmm.
true friends that really know you don't need to hear from you all the time. It's like when you think of them, or when you have a plan, or if it's a birthday or something, you connect. And the real true friends are the ones that you can go a whole year without talking to and reconnect. And it's like you didn't skip a beat, right?
That is so true. I heard hairstylist. I heard jobs. I
Oh, yeah, I've had
heard
so
high
many.
school.
I've
Was
had
it
so many.
working and studying at the same time? Were you paying for your own studies?
So
What was going on?
when I was in school, it was my junior year of high school, I decided to go to school to be a cosmetologist. And so that's when I started beauty school. After high school, decided to go to JJC I was going to be a teacher. That's what I wanted to do. Wasn't shortly after I started that I got in a horrible car accident, and my parents decided to get divorced. And so in that moment, it was like, okay, what's most important right now? And I think it was providing financially to help out with the family. So I dropped out of college, finally finished getting my cosmetology license, which took me some time. And during that time, I think I was working at Great Clips. I was working at Kohl's for a little bit. I did a little Applebee's business. I was like waitressing at a few different places. So I kind of was trying to rediscover, what was next for me, because at that point I didn't want to go back to college to be a teacher, and I just didn't know exactly. And actually, the car accident helped me to meet Dr. Charles Majors, and he was a chiropractor in Romeoville at Planet Chiropractic. So I got to meet him. I ended up working for him.
Okay.
Even though he was like my doctor caring for me through this accident, it ended up being such a huge blessing. I worked with him for a few years. I learned so much about nutrition. I learned so much about the body. I learned so much at that point in my life that I didn't know that I needed. I was offered a position by Edward Hospital to start working in mental health. So I didn't really want to work there, but the benefits were so good that I was like, I have to take this leap and just try it, right? Ended up working there for 13 years. So I worked in
Wow.
mental health. I worked for Lynn and Oaks Medical Group. I was started at like a front desk role, collecting insurance, helping with billing, helping with scheduling, that kind of stuff. Met some incredible people that I still keep in contact with today. Worked my way up the ladder of, I was I don't remember all the titles, but supervised the office for a
Right.
while. And then I opened a new location in Plainfield, which is that's how my foot got into the door in Plainfield. Cause at that time I was living in Crest Hill at the
Okay.
time. Then I got a supervisor job where I was supervising the physicians, the nurses, the front desk staff. And then they wanted me to open another location. So I opened
Oh,
another
wow.
location in Naperville. This is kind of a crazy story, but this is really deep rooted. Totally gets you to understand me and
Absolutely.
how it
That's
got me here.
yeah.
So 13 years, right?
Yeah.
I knew everybody. I was friends with everyone. I was really outshining my position, I felt. And I started asking myself, like, is there something more? Started asking God, is there something more for me? Because this is so easy. And I just feel like I have so much talent that's going to waste here. Like, what should I be doing next? I hired a girl who I loved. She was awesome. She had matching energy to mine. She was completely capable of working in bigger roles. And I thought, I'll just take her under my wing and grow her to be the next supervisor for when I moved to the next position. I was holding her accountable for her job that wasn't being completed. And then I found out later that her dad was a lawyer and threatened to sue Edward Hospital if they didn't fire me because I was bullying her.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So I had a really hard time with this. At the time, my manager was out on medical leave. She was my manager for all 13 years. She knew me so well. When I caught wind of that, I talked to the medical director. I was talking to some of the physicians. I'm like, what do I do? Like, how am I bullying her? I'm just asking her to do her job. I had like petitions going around the hospital. Everybody was like vouching for me to try and keep my position.
Oh my God.
Long story short, I was demoted from this job that I worked up to for 13 years all the way back down to the very first position that I ever had as a patient service rep. So it was that time that I really felt like I hit rock bottom because I'm like, I worked so hard to get to where I was. And even though it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, it was a really good job. It was really good benefits. I was making really good money. I was living on my own downtown Plainfield in this cool little apartment that I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford this, right? In that moment, I found out, like literally that same weekend, I found out my boyfriend at the time was cheating on me. So I'm like, what is this, God? Like, what am I doing here? Where are you pointing me to? So I had some really cool conversations with friends. My friends, Candace and Joe LaGilia, are friends of mine. Candace is one of those kindergarten friends I was talking about. They were like, you should really sell real estate. Like, real estate? Well, what do I know about real estate, right? I've never bought a home.
Right.
I don't even think my parents owned a home. They were renters for such a long time. They're like, but it's such a cool job. Like, you're a natural connector. Like, let us introduce you to our favorite real estate agent and just have lunch with her or something. So I had lunch with Tammy Barvian. She allowed me to shadow her. So I watched her do a buyer interview and a seller interview. And I was like, wait, that's work? Like, you just talk to people.
Right.
Shortly after that, I decided I'm going to keep my position at Edward and I'm going to get my real estate license. So I started taking all the classes for real estate. It was really hard to juggle working a full-time job and trying to take all these classes and trying to pass this test. I am not a good test taker. So with real estate, you can take this real estate exam 4 times, fail it 4 times. And if you fail it on the 4th time, you have to retake the entire class and then start testing again.
Oh boy.
Well, I failed.
All 4?
I failed 6.
Oh my God.
So after the first 4, I had to go back to class. I was determined. I was like, this is
for
happening.
determination.
Yeah,
right
thank
there.
you. Thank you.
For real. Sticking to it.
I had a wonderful teacher. She would literally have me come to her kitchen table and say, all right, these are the things that you are struggling in. Like, this is what we're working on. And all the while, she knew I was not going to work for her. I was going to work for my friend Tammy, because Tammy is the one that got me into real estate, right?
Right.
It took me way too long to get my real estate license. Thank God that has nothing to do with the success of your real estate business.
That is, it's just a piece of paper.
The things that you test for are not things that you use in real life, not in real estate. So anyhow, took me way too long to get that license. In the meantime, I was like feeling like I was being kicked at Edward Hospital. So I took on another job. I worked at Lifetime Fitness for a while, got some good benefits there, and a nice workout plan. You know, I got to work out for free. So that was a nice little bonus. Met some wonderful people there. When I finally got my real estate license, I worked for Tammy. She had Barvian Real Estate, which is now where Hazel Marie's is located, downtown Plainfield. She doesn't, Tammy Barvian, Barvian Real Estate doesn't exist any longer, but I did my first full year with her.
Wow.
Sold 9 houses my first year, which it's actually a lot of homes to sell your first year in real estate. And I think that year the average in Illinois was 4. So I was doing really, really good.
Yeah.
But there was something missing. I think Tammy's head and heart were starting to shift towards ice cream. And I was like, I just want real estate. Like, I just want to do real estate, right? Like, I was falling in love with it and falling in love with the people and just everything involved. So ended up reaching back out to my teacher. T.G. Tasso is her name. She got me involved in John Greene, and I am so thankful that I made that jump, because John Greene is like a family. So John Greene was founded by John Greene himself almost 50 years ago. We're going to celebrate our 50th anniversary next year, which is cool.
Wow.
So our main location is in Naperville. It's just north of 95th and 59.
Okay.
That's where we do all our sales meetings and classes and things of that sort. And then I met you at the Plainfield location.
Right. Yeah.
That is the same building that I was living in when I got that huge demotion. And so that building itself is just really special to me.
And you lived there?
That's where I lived.
Wow.
Yep. That's where I studied real estate. And now I'm practicing it on the first floor, which is really cool.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, gosh. It's a dream come true, honestly. I decided to buy my own home in 2022, October of 2022. I bought my own home.
Nice. Congrats.
Thank you. Big deal. You know, being a homeowner is not easy. It's not for the weak.
No.
It's a lot of work.
Yes.
A lot of money. Anyhow, so I bought a home 2022, obviously brought Gavin home in 2023. So he had a home to go to, which is cool. And I remember getting a call from our sales manager, Scott Parker. He called me shortly after Gavin was born. He was like, so I'm just like testing the waters here. Like, do you think you're going to keep selling real estate, or are you going to be like a stay-at-home mom? And I was like, Scott, find me a sitter. I need to come back to work.
Like, I can't stay at home all the time.
So when we were at that, we had gone to lunch and we were talking about it further. And he was like, I really want you to start teaching some classes. Like, I think that this can be cool for you. And at that point, Plainfield, John Greene was just a dream. We didn't have anything located, right? We didn't have anything under our belts yet. So he was like, you know, the goal is to find a location, and I want you to help like organize it and get it going, and, you know, be the face, right?
Nice. Yeah.
So that's what happened. So I started teaching some classes. We call them Liftoff at John Greene. So whenever someone gets their license and starts working at John Greene, I'm helping with kind of coaching them and guiding them and teaching them how to be successful, which is really cool.
I mean, look at you, from failing the test 6 times to now teaching people. Like,
well,
that
and
is,
dropping out of college when I wanted to be a teacher, thinking that could never happen.
Yeah.
And here I am teaching, and didn't even know that this was going to be something that was in my wheelhouse.
Exactly.
So I truly do thank God for that little nudge to get me out of that position at Edward. I was comfortable, right? It was a good paying job. It was good benefits. 9 to 5, off on the weekends, off on the holidays.
Steady paycheck.
Yeah, for sure. And knowing when my paychecks were coming, which was cool. Something I miss.
True. Was the demotion the big, like, the main nudge, would you say? Or was it a combination between that and other things happening in your personal life?
I think it was a little bit of everything, right? I think I had to really focus in on what is your worth, Kristin, and what are you going to take it? Where are you going to take that? Right? And so I realized, like, I started recognizing through bachelorette parties with my girlfriends that I was really good at sales. So my girlfriends' moms were like, Kristin, you need to get in sales.
So did you ever had like a sales I mean, you obviously had a salesperson in you all your
I
life,
didn't know
right?
it. I
But you
didn't know
didn't
it,
know it,
right?
right?
I always thought it was just a cheerleader that I was supposed to be. I was just supposed to cheer people on and
Right.
be their backbone. Even at the hospital when I worked there, I'm like, your doctor's great. He's going to help you, right? It's just in my blood. And I remember being approached multiple times when I was working at the hospital. All the drug reps were like, Kristin, you'd be so good at this.
Really?
But I didn't believe in the drugs enough to say, I want to sell this, right? Another job that I had when I was practicing or when I was taking all my real estate classes and exams, I started selling essential oils.
Wow.
It was something
Kristin,
that
you
I
are
used.
blowing me away here. Like, I can't keep track of all the jobs.
Yeah. Don't write them down. Don't write them down.
That is okay.
So I was using Young Living oils, and a friend of mine was like, "Hey, if you want to make some extra cash, just start selling oils." And I did. So I started going to people's homes and talking about them and how I use them and things like that. So at that point, I realized like, if I'm selling something that I believe in, I don't feel like a salesperson. I feel like a cheerleader with a really big megaphone.
That is a very good way of putting it, actually, because if you really love what you're doing, you're not going to see it as a job in the first place.
That's right. I get to meet people where they're at, hear their story, and really, really listen to what's going on and what their hopes are for the future. Now, I don't have all the money, right, to give them to make that happen, but I have so many amazing people in my circle that I can say, here's the lender that you should use to help you get to where you need to be. I remember when my first year of real estate, I had a client who had horrible credit but needed to get out of her situation. The lender that I referred her to was able to really hear her out and help her within the first year of her journey of like, here's what you need to pay off and here's what you need to focus on so that we can get you a good credit score by next year and we'll get you to buy. And I thought in that transaction, I just learned so much about like, it's not about the short game. It's not about making a quick dollar. It's really hearing someone's story and playing the long game with them.
Yes.
And being an accountability partner for them to get them to make their dreams come true.
Between the changes of jobs that you've had throughout, we're not even going to count them.
I don't even think I told you all of them yet.
But that is the spirit of a true entrepreneur.
Okay.
People may think that, switching jobs is like you get bored easily. It's nothing about being bored, but it's like the feeling that you feel like you've accomplished the most you can accomplish at that position. We are not the type of people that stay complacent.
No, we're not.
And that's why you're like, okay, next.
I remember when you said that, it just struck me back in my lifetime days. So I was working in the cafe because it was the most high-paid job that they had to offer at that point. I remember one night I was taking the trash out at the end of the day, and I ran into somebody in like the hallway, and they're like, "I've never seen somebody so happy to take the trash out, Kristin." And I'm like, "But that's because this isn't my forever. This is just my today, right?
Exactly.
Like this is what I have to do today to get me to the next point." And I know going into work every day, whether I was taking out the trash or making a smoothie or mopping the floor or whatever it was, I had a bigger dream. I had a bigger goal. So I had to do those things to get me here.
Obviously, you learned a lot of things from every job.
Yes.
Give me examples of specific things you learned at a specific job.
I don't know if I necessarily learned this from working in the job or if it just happened to be that I was working at the time when I learned this, but it was figuring out for me that having a home that you can totally and completely relax in, right? You can totally unplug. And for me, it took a long time because I had roommates for years. So it wasn't until I had my very own place where I didn't have to worry about how clean the refrigerator was or if anything was expired or did I remember to turn off or unplug the curling iron and put it away today, right? It was like I really truly felt like, wow, I'm not just surviving. I'm actually thriving right now because I'm living to my full potential. Like was so happy and I got to experience what real joy was at that point. At the time I was working at the hospital and I remember thinking I was in mental health. So I heard a lot of stories and a lot of heartbreaking information. And I thought if they can experience what I have at home with like total peace, right? If they could feel that and experience that, not just once, like not just a vacation, but if they could come home to that every day, that's when my full potential was unlocked. Because I was like, okay, now I can really feel my feelings and really think into the future about what I want, what's going to happen, right? Like this is all what was happening right before I got that demotion. So I was experiencing this joy. I was experiencing this happiness, this peace. And that's when I realized like, it's not just finding shelter, finding, comfortability in life. It's like, what's next? How am I going to push myself to my full potential, to use my full God-given gifts? I actually met Tanya Koss at that point, and she came to my house and we sat down and had a conversation, and she explained to me, like, these are the 9 God-given gifts. Here's the ones that you have. How are you going to use those going into the future? And that helped me tremendously. So when I kind of figured that out and learned about real estate and learned that I can help people provide that sort of peace and joy and comfort in their own 4 walls, I'm like, sold. That's what I need to do, right?
Yeah.
Help people find that, because it's not just a place, it's a feeling.
You're so good with words.
Oh, well, thanks.
You said finding a home, right? Now, you did mention the divorce of your parents. You're a single mom. You must have had rough days.
They weren't always happy.
Do you think those rough days made you respect and appreciate your current situation more?
Everything that has happened in my life was not by accident, right? I think God had a plan, and he knew something that was much bigger for me than I could ever dream. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull this together.
You got this.
I never wanted to be a single mom, right?
Okay.
I grew up with girls younger who had kids, who ended up being a single parent. And I was like, that is not the life I want. But I think God has a bigger plan for us. And sometimes we can't see it, but that was those are the cards that I was dealt. And like I said before, Gavin is the biggest blessing that I've ever been given. I just had a vacation with friends. We just went to Siesta Key. There was 16 of us total that went. Lots of amazing moms. I got to watch all of them with their kids. And one of the things that they kept saying was, Kristin, you are incredibly patient. Like, how are you handling that with such grace? And I guess I didn't really ever recognize it before because I just do it, right? Like, I'm in the trenches right now. Like,
Right.
Sometimes I can't see what I'm doing. I'm just digging through the swamp, right? Watching all of my friends becoming parents many years prior to me having Gavin gave me really good structure for how I wanted to parent. And so when I was given the gift of Gavin, it's something that I just hold so precious and so close to my heart that, like, I don't want to screw this up, right? And I know that every day is new and that there's no such thing as a perfect parent. And so, yeah, I just try and I just try and be present with him and slow down with him and listen to him. And eye contact is important, so I try and get on his level and connect with him and just really figure out what it is that he needs and what is it that I know that I can provide for him. So often life gets so busy for everyone. My dad had a hard time keeping a job, so my mom was the sole provider in the family, and so she didn't always get to do the things that a lot of girls were doing with their moms. And so, like, I want to be there. I want to be present. Real estate is such a blessing because, it's super, super busy. Don't get me wrong, but it allows me the time to slow down with him when I need to.
If you didn't go through the things as a child that you did, how would you appreciate what you have now?
Absolutely.
Throughout your careers, throughout the different jobs you had, which one stood out?
My gosh, I loved working at Joe's Crab Shack. I was a server.
Okay.
My closest girlfriends worked there with me, which was great. We were all servers. They let us bring pictures from home to, like, staple to the wall, like fun pictures. I remember that was, like, so exciting. And we danced every hour. I just met some really cool people there.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
What job did you feel like quitting the most?
Oh, I don't know that I was ever in a position that I hated.
Yeah.
I feel like I had so many interests that every job was like something that I wanted to know more about, or something that there was something exciting about it, right?
Right.
I even loved working at Starbucks.
Why not? Absolutely.
I was the 4:30 a.m. girl.
Oh my goodness.
I was the
graveyard shift, what they call?
I don't know what they called it. The crack of dawn shift. I don't know, but I would come in, I would make myself, a latte or something, and then I was always on the drive-through. Everybody loved when I was on the drive-through, including myself, because I was on my little walkie or whatnot, and I'd be like, hey, welcome to Starbucks. This is Kristin. What can I get for you today? And then they tell me that, like, I remember so many people would be like, I'll drink whatever you're drinking. I need your energy at 5 in
I'll
the
have what
morning.
she's having.
It was so fun, though. I ended up finding out that my boss at Starbucks, her husband was a John Greene Realtor. And at that point, I had just started my real estate career at John Greene. So it's just, the world's so small.
It's funny how things work out sometimes.
Yeah.
What was something that gave you hope?
I don't know. I feel like hope for me is like watching other people being successful.
From all the things I even jotted down here, like, you're big on helping others.
I feel like God put each of us on this planet on purpose, right? And we're all given some kind of talents. And I say that with an S because we have many, right? So when I meet you, I want to know, what do you need from me? But what do I need from you? And how can we
Right.
collaborate together,
Right.
right? Well, the cool thing about real estate is that no 2 days are ever the same,
Okay.
right? So my day today was starting off with Plainfield Masterminds. So
Okay.
that's a networking group that I co-founded. We do breakfast together. We network together. Shortly after that, where did I go? Oh, I had to go to the office because I had a new listing to put in the MLS. I had to do a price change on one and relist another one that just came back on the market. So I worked in the office for a little bit. I had a meeting today with all of my closest real estate friends. So every year John Greene puts on a client appreciation event. So John Greene owns a polo farm, and we
Okay.
have a polo match every year. Like a
Wow.
big, giant, huge horses, these professional polo players, they come out and put on this big show for us, basically.
Okay.
And what we do for our clients is, we each organize a tent that has, food and drinks and desserts and
Okay.
all kinds of fun kid activities. So I worked on that today with my polo team, which I'm really excited about. I was so excited to come meet you. And this is all part of like growing,
Yeah.
my business and getting
No,
involved.
absolutely, absolutely. Do you have any funny stories?
The first one that comes to mind, many years ago in my career, I hosted an open home for a couple that was moving to Texas, and they already had their home in Texas, and they were back and forth between Illinois and Texas. So on the weekend of the open home, they said, oh, we're not going to be home. We'll be in Texas. You turn on the lights, turn off the lights when you leave, if you want to open blinds, whatever. So I get there. I opened all the blinds on the first floor, and I went to go open the blinds and turn on the lights upstairs. Well, as I was halfway up the stairs, I heard something, and I look over, and I see feet on the edge of the bed. So I go downstairs. I call the husband's phone number. He doesn't answer. I called the wife's phone number. She doesn't answer. And I'm like, oh, God, what am I going to do, right?
Oh boy.
All of a sudden, the doorbell rings. I'm like, oh, gosh, somebody's here to see the house, and I don't know what's going on upstairs, so what am I going to do? Thank God I had a lender there with me. So I'm like, you open the front door. I'm going to go upstairs and just knock on the wall all the way up the stairs until I wake this person up because they're clearly, like, sleeping, right? So the wife calls me as I'm walking up the stairs, and she's like, hey, my husband's there. He came home to mow the lawn. He probably fell asleep because he was exhausted. He jumped off a red eye and, like, mowed the lawn.
Oh my God.
So she's like, just go in there. And I'm like, I'm so scared. And I didn't know how to say it to her, but I was like, I don't know if he's wearing clothes because I only see his bare legs and feet. Thankfully, she was able to call him a few times and got him awake. But oh my gosh, okay, this is my favorite one. It's kind of like a love story. And it's like, you can't make this stuff up, right?
Lay it on me.
So I'm working with this couple, this family. They have 2 young girls. We had been out looking for homes for quite some time. Now, this was years ago. Right now, if you're out there as a buyer, you have to make a split-second decision if you want a home, right? Because they go so fast. So I had been out with this couple. We had seen so many homes. And at this point in my career, I mean, it was early on. I was kind of wondering, like, how many houses should you actually show a family before they make a decision, right? So I I call it the come to Jesus talk. I went to their kitchen table and I'm like, okay, let's lay it all out. You already given me some of your wants and needs, but together, let's connect the dots because something's missing here, right? We had seen like 25 homes.
Holy smokes. Okay.
That was a lot.
That's a lot.
They said, we are having a hard time making a decision because our down payment or some of the money that we're using for this purchase is from our father who just passed away recently. So we want to make sure that whatever house that we're in, we receive his blessing in order to write an offer. Well, they don't teach that stuff in real estate school, right? I'm like, how do we get your deceased parents' blessing in a home right? Before you write an offer. So I did some praying with them. I went home and did some more praying. And the next morning I was in the office and I had their little list next to me and I was going through everything that was available. And I'm like, oh, I found the perfect home. Like this one matches all the boxes. It's perfect. It's in the same subdivision as the first house that we had saw together that they liked, but it ended up going under contract, right? So I call them, I share all the photos. They're super excited. They get to the house. We said a prayer out front. They had their daughters with them. I was like, this is it. We got it, right? We were on Legacy Drive, which I thought like,
Okay.
oh, maybe this is Dad's legacy, right? He's leaving
Oh,
back a
okay.
legacy for them, right? Like
Okay.
maybe that's it. Before we even open the front door, the little girl starts crying because she saw a cat and she's allergic to cats, so she can't go in. I'm like, okay, no big deal. You stay outside with me. Mom, Dad, older sister, you guys go in, take a look. I'll stand right at the door. It's fine. Get the door open, and the paneling on the wall is literally falling off. And I'm like, oh, this is not a good sign. That's not what the pictures looked like, right? The pictures made it look perfect. So they go through the house. I'm standing out front, entertaining their daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And they come out of the house, and they're like, this is not the one. I'm like, what? Are you sure? It checked all the boxes. And they're like, Kristin, like the paneling was falling off, like the wall color was horrible in every room. The photos just did not really identify what this looked like. So I get this call from this real estate agent while I'm still with the family. And she said, hey, you guys saw our home on Poppy Lane and you had expressed some interest, but we went under contract before you guys could write an offer. Are you still interested? And I looked at my clients and I said, hey, you guys like Poppy, right? And they're like, what? I'm like, you guys like Poppy, right? Poppy Lane? Isn't that the house that you guys really loved? And they're like, our dad's name was Poppy.
No way.
I was like, what? You didn't share that with me. So we went back, did a second viewing of Poppy, and they ended up going under contract while we were on Legacy Drive. We went
Wow.
under contract on Poppy Lane. So that one was really cool because it just was like, it was a true testament of slowing down and listening, figuring out all the things that they really, really wanted, connecting with them on a level of like, I don't think you normally pray with every client because you don't always have that
Right.
relationship. But they became super vulnerable with me and we did a lot of praying. And I really think God stepped in on that one and was like, oh, you want Poppy's blessings? Here's Poppy's blessings, right?
Right out the bat. Like
Pretty
that
cool,
is.
right?
Wow. Yeah.
That one was really special. I'll always hold that one special to my heart.
Now, I noticed you mention God and praying, your devotion to God.
Yeah.
Was
So
that something always with you, or did you develop it as you were going through tough times?
So my parents raised me as being a Catholic. We went to a Catholic church down the street from our house. I like to say that we were Creasters. Have you ever heard of that term
No.
before? Creasters are people who go to church on Christmas and Easter. When I was in high school, my freshman year of high school, one of my girlfriends started doing small groups at her house within her church, and she invited all of our closest friends. So I dove into that, and I fell in love with this church. I go to Community Christian Church, and I've been going since my freshman year of high school. I just recently dedicated Gavin to
Okay.
the Lord, so that was really cool.
Nice.
He got to go
Congrats.
up on stage, and I was like, oh gosh, is he going to be nervous? Bright lights and tons of people.
Nope.
Nope,
He's
not
in
at
his
all. He was
element.
proud in his little
Exactly.
outfit, like smiled the whole time.
Nice. No,
Yeah.
that's his element right there.
When I purchased my home and I moved out of that apartment, it was bittersweet for me because I loved that place. I mean, it was the entertainment hub for so many things. The kids' sleepovers, the friend get-togethers, the parking spots for friends when they were just trying to get to dinner, and then I got to see them afterwards for dessert, right? Every time I would come back to downtown Plainfield, I'm like, oh, I belong here. Like, I need to be here, right?
Plus, it's in the heart of
Oh,
Plainfield.
gosh, yeah. When this spot became available for an office, I begged and pleaded with the people at John Greene, and I'm like, we have to have this space. Like, it's so perfect. It's in
Nice.
such a good spot. So I authentically am excited
Right.
about cruise nights. I'm authentically
I
excited.
missed it this time again.
Well, don't worry, because it's every Tuesday night.
We were driving back to Costco, and driving back, I'm like, crap, like we missed it. Like we don't do grocery shopping on weekends anymore because
Too much fun stuff happening.
too busy supermarkets.
Yeah, that too.
Like
Say you say busy to me, and I hear lots of people are there,
Right,
and I want
right,
to be
right,
there. But I do understand.
busy in the city, love it. Yes, supermarkets when I have to wait like 20 minutes to check out, like no.
See, but that's when you can network. That's when you can talk with the people around you.
That is true.
I always
That
laugh
is
about
true.
I always laugh about people who are like angry in traffic because truly it's on purpose, I think. It's a slowdown from somewhere. What are you supposed to be doing right now? Is it listening to an awesome song? Is it having a good conversation? We have so many resources now in the car that like we can safely have a conversation with somebody. If there's people in your car, like play I Spy or, you know, depending on the age of the person that's in the car with you,
I
like
have never
have
thought of
a
it like that.
conversation. Like there's a reason why we're supposed to be slowing down in that moment. So let's lean into that.
I've never looked at it like that.
Everybody thinks about being present in the moment when it's a good thing, right? But sometimes in the not so good things, we have to be present for that too, because there's something there. You just got to see it.
That is so true.
And if you're always focused on what's next, you're going to miss what's right in front of you.
I can only put one title, Kristin. I cannot put episode like every 5 minutes change the
Well,
title.
hey,
of the
listen,
episode.
if you put all of those into ChatGPT, I'm sure you can come up with a really cool title.
That is true. What does this moment mean to you in life now?
I don't know if you did this on purpose or if this was just by chance, but it's such an honor to be here, to be in a position where somebody wants to hear my story. I don't know if anybody's going to actually watch this or not, but even just with you, it means that we can connect and there is a greater purpose for us to have this relationship.
Absolutely.
So honestly, it gives me a moment to say like, how can I help you?
The way you can help me is by just sharing whatever we do here, because obviously this will resonate with so many people that are afraid to step out of their comfort zone, are afraid to take the next step, that don't know if they should.
Well,
First
they
of all,
say that if your dreams aren't scary, that they're not big
They're-
enough, right?
exactly.
But it's so true. I mean, taking that
Exactly.
leap of a very comforting job, right? It was cushiony. It was all the things that we already talked about.
Right.
Taking that leap into not knowing what was next. And real estate is a huge leap because you really don't know when your next paycheck is, even now, right? I work with top producing agents who get nervous sometimes still. It's a real thing. But if you know what your gifts are, you know what your talents are, let them shine, right? Like just do it. Just do it.
Do you consider yourself successful?
Well, it's interesting because everybody measures success differently, right?
True.
I think if you looked at my bank account, you might think a little differently. No.
Take the monetary apart aside.
Yeah, no, I feel very successful. I feel so proud that I can be a homeowner and that I can be a mom and that I can have a business that I'm doing something that I love, right? And nothing is forever. So if this doesn't work out, I know that I have so many talents inside here and inside here that I don't know what'll be next, right? Like I said before, I've never had a job that I didn't like. So
Exactly.
I don't know if this is forever or not, but it is for right now and I love it. So
It's
I
today,
I consider that success.
Do you feel fulfilled? Like, do you feel like there is a next stage coming?
I don't know. I feel like every chapter I feel so fulfilled in, but then the next one always outblows the last one. So I'm excited to see what's in store for me. I'm very thankful for where I am right now and for where I've been. But there's always something more, right?
Absolutely. What do you think would that more be?
Right now, my brain is dreaming about a pool in the backyard.
Oh, boy.
So like if I could have that, then I have the destination hotspot that people don't need a vacation from, right? Like
Right.
everybody's going to KB's this weekend because she's having a pool party. That's definitely on the forefront.
With a big screen for like a
Oh,
outdoor
yes.
movie
Yes.
thing?
We want that. We need a bar. We need some amazing, lawn chairs to lay out on.
We'll move the podcast right there.
Perfect. Bring your sunscreen.
in KB's backyard. We'll
Yeah.
rename it.
Yeah, for sure.
If your 10-year-old self were to walk in this room right now,
Okay.
what would you tell her?
Don't worry, girlfriend. You got this. It's not always going to be like this. It's going to be way better one day. Trust your gut. Stay positive and just breathe.
Would you have done something differently?
I don't know that I would have done anything differently. I don't know that I had the resources to do anything differently. So I think really leaning into the friendships that I had and knowing the family that was around me, and, just living to my potential, I think I always did that.
Now, as a single mom, how do you handle work-life balance?
I've learned patience because this is what I want, right? This is the life that was given to me because this is what was in my heart and this is what I was made for, right? Having routine is not something that I ever actually had in my life because I'm kind of spontaneous and like I'm all over the place. Have you ever heard of Enneagram before? Kind of like a personality type.
Okay.
And there's a test that you can take, and there's 9 different types, and they're Bible based. It's really interesting. But I was identified as an Enneagram 7, and Enneagram
Okay.
7 are kind of like all over the place. Like they don't like having restraints, and they don't
That
like
I would probably
having,
be that too.
yeah,
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
introducing a routine into my life. I fought against it really hard. I still do sometimes. But I've realized that that's where he really grows and that's where he really excels. So I have to do that for him. So, when I wake him up in the morning, it's go pee pee on the potty because he's potty trained at 2, which is really cool.
Good job. For
Thank
real.
you. Props to Kimmy, our daycare lady. She's amazing. Brush our teeth. He lets me do his hair every morning. He gets a little gel in his hair, a little faux hawk going.
That is
We
cute.
get a little snack on our way to daycare. And on the days that he's not at daycare, it's just the same. I want to sleep in and I'd love to just snuggle on the couch. But I've recognized that when we don't have that routine in our life, we don't do good on Mondays. So if we just keep that routine going, we thrive when we have routine. So
True.
that's what we do.
What do you want people to remember about your story?
Just because someone calls you a bully doesn't necessarily mean you are one. So there's a bigger purpose. Maybe there's a greater calling for the things that are not so pretty, not so exciting in your life, and just to lean into that, right? I think if I would have stopped there, if I would have fallen to my knees and assumed that, oh gosh, maybe I'm a bad person and I'm a bully, maybe I wouldn't have pursued my dreams and
True.
taken it to the next level and taken it to the next step. So
True.
I think if something bad happens to you, just really like lean into that and like ask yourself or ask God, like, why? Why is this happening? And how am I going to overcome it? Where are the truths in this? And what things can I reflect on and grow from? But what things can I fight against and know that this is who I truly am and I'm going to make something better of this situation?
It sounds like advice because my next question would have been what kind of advice would you give somebody that is, let's say, starting into real estate or looking into a change of career? Because, I mean, you have had a ton.
So someone once told me, you can train a monkey to do the job,
Okay.
but you have to have the personality for it. So I think if you have tough skin and you could get beat up and you could fly by the seat of your pants because sometimes you got to drop everything that you're doing to attend to a showing or, right, you have to like jump to your client's needs. It's not for the weak. It's definitely
True.
not for the weak. So I'd love to have a conversation with anybody who's interested in real estate and teach them, what it actually is, do something for them like what Tammy did for me. You could shadow me on some showings. You can shadow me on some listing appointments, like see what it actually is. I actually just told somebody at the gym that yesterday.
Oh,
Somebody
yeah.
approached me and he was like, you make real estate look like so much fun. Should I do that? And I'm like, we should have coffee because there's a lot for you to learn before you make that
Right.
decision.
Right.
And like I said, I mean, not knowing exactly when your next paycheck is, some people couldn't thrive in that kind of lifestyle. Whereas somebody who's spontaneous like me is like, okay, well, I'll be good with my money while I'm getting it, from March till October. And then you have to be, smart about it when you're not making money in those
Right.
winter months when real estate is quiet.
We definitely did go to a few darker places.
Yeah.
a
What the
lot
heck?
of-
Why'd you make me cry so much?
I would like to close the show with these remarks. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so
thank
much for having me.
Absolutely pleasure. I would love to have you again in the
You
future.
just let me know when.
If you got anything out of this show, make sure that you subscribe, share it with somebody to inspire their day as well. I will see you all in the next episode.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely.